Hey everyone, you know who I am. I'm the 13th Wolfman. You know who I have with me? I have the original Brenda Carter. I have Bambi from Welcome Back, Carter. I have Susan Lanier and sit down. Welcome, Susan. Suze.
Hey, yeah, people call me Suze these days. Suze Lanier-Bramlett. I added my late husband's name to mine, so I worked for years under Lanier, and so a few years ago I added his name to mine. Like married people do.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like I I remember seeing The Hills Have Eyes when I was 10 at the drive-in, and I know you was Susan Lanier. So it's
Yeah.
like, and you were a crush of mine.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, Hills Have Eyes, that's a great movie.
I think you probably like the way I scream, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But here's something that a lot of people probably don't know. You were almost Chrissy Snow on Three's Company.
Yes, I was.
You
I
were
did
in
the
the
pilot. I shot the second pilot to it. And that was the pilot that aired that sold the show.
but what
But
was I mean, I can't see the reasoning for getting rid of you.
thank you. Well, it's showbiz. You have to go with the bumps, and there's the highs and the lows. And I've been in acting since I was 13, professionally since I was 17, and I've learned to take the good with the bad.
Oh yeah,
You have
well,
you have great years, and then you have years, and you get rejected along the way, and you have to be able to accept that. Nobody ever knows the rhyme or reason of why somebody stays on a show or doesn't stay on a show. So and I've had a great career and a fun career despite of it. So
oh well, yeah. So you do the pilot for Three's Company. You don't get it, but you got The Hills Have Eyes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I've had a lot of mileage off that. A lot of people didn't last very long on Three's Company, and so they did well, but they would have done well in spite of that show. I think. I thought Suzanne Summers did a great job of playing the role, and she had already had a couple of good credits, so she would have been who she is anyway. I think the show definitely helped her become who she was, but um, she was ambitious and talented, so and beautiful. So I was raised in the theater though, and I turned down a number of uh, TV things to do serious theater and do theatrical tours on the road in Equity National Professional Theater.
Right. That's very cool. So now there's a rumor now, and maybe you can confirm this rumor for me.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that played your father,
Russ.
Big Bob Carter,
Uh-huh.
right, in The Hills Have Eyes,
Right.
lost it after the movie was wrapped and just disappeared.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm very close to Dee and Janice and Michael, and I was close to Virginia Vincent and Wes Craven. Um, that very well may be true because I never heard anything about Russ after The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't think that it's because of The Hills Have Eyes that he disappeared, but maybe it was.
I
That's
I
great. Where'd
I
you hear that?
Wes Craven's audio commentary on The Hills Have Eyes.
Wow. I've never watched that. So, um, but he was nice enough. A little, the character that you see on the screen was actually who he was in person.
That's actually kind of that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so you're another thing I hear is that you're best friends with Pluto himself.
we're pretty close. Yeah, he's like my brother. And I love Michael Behrman dearly. We do things. We've spent many Christmases and Thanksgivings together, and I love his wife Patty. And you know, we've we reconnected. After The Hills Have Eyes, we sort of all vanished. Poof. I saw Dee actually more. I did another film with Dee a few years ago, and then I ran into Michael at a film convention, and we realized we were neighbors. So Dee and Michael and I all lived within blocks of each other, and so Michael and I started getting together and hanging out, and uh, got closer, and so over the years now we spend holidays together. He's moved out of LA again, and that is very upsetting. I was not happy about him relocating again, but
Yeah. See, the coolest thing has happened to me this year. I went to my very first horror convention.
your very
I,
first.
my very first horror convention,
Oh my.
Seattle Crypticon.
Uh-huh.
I met Michael. Michael Berryman is like the icon of icons when it comes to horror movies for me. So I got to meet him. And now I get to sit down and talk to you, the crushes of crushes.
Well, he is one of the loveliest people I've ever met. So he's just a lovely, lovely person, and I'm very proud to call him, best friend. So yeah, I can't believe this is your first horror convention.
It was, yeah. It was my first horror convention. My buddy Fang and I went out and went to it. Like I said, got to meet Michael Berryman. That was right there. I was like at the top of the list. Got to meet Michael Berryman, and I did a few interviews, and you know.
I just got back from Comic-Con yesterday.
Oh, so, San Diego.
I went to I was signing I was invited to the Geek Nation party for this year, but 2 years ago I was signing at the New York Comic-Con, so that was cool.
So were you there promoting? Well, the reason that we're talking, Cut, your new movie.
Yeah. I was. They just asked me to be a guest there, so they placed me between Julianne Moore and Carrie Fisher, so it was kind of cool.
Oh my God!
In New York, there were 78,000 people, over 78,000 people. I thought I was gonna I don't know. I don't like huge crowds, so it was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get lost. It was terrible. Thank God I took an assistant. So.
Well, that's very cool, but I mean, still, that's a lot of people, man.
Yeah, and the San Diego one is twice that big, if not more. So yeah, the San Diego one is huge. I haven't been to they invited me to the San Diego one, but to sign, but I can't be around that many people. I mean, I love people. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to a party tonight. I just don't want to be around hundreds of thousands of people. It makes me nervous.
No, I could understand that. You
Yeah.
know, so in the movie Cut, you basically play yourself,
Right.
And the cool thing is that this is a second generation Stone working with you.
It sure is. Gabrielle Stone is Dee Wallace's biological daughter,
Yeah.
and I like to say to Gabrielle on the set, I knew your mother before you did. So we laughed about that. She is adorable, and she's a very good actress. She's like her mother. She's a really good actress.
I love the scene. I love the scene where they get in your face about you being Susan Lanier Suze Lanier. And
It's all the same.
yeah, but it's one of the great scenes. It's my favorite scene in the movie, actually. That whole jawbreaking back and forth about the whole who you are and what you've done.
Is it really your favorite scene?
No, it is. That's what I told David last week.
Oh, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah, I had David Roundtree on last week, and we talked about it, and yeah, that's my favorite scene.
He's just a wonderful director to work with. I really love working with David. He runs a very peaceful, mellow, professional set. Nobody's screaming. Everybody's kind of cool, calm, and collected, and getting the job done in such a cooperative way. Everybody cooperates. Everybody helps. Nobody's a diva or a prima donna. And David is just a very mellow guy. I adore him. I have a script that I'm co-producing with a friend of mine from Georgia, and I'm going to talk to David about directing it. I love the way he works.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did David approach getting you in this movie?
We both are with the same manager, Eileen O'Farrell, and Eileen, he said he had thought about having a scene with some horror icon, and I mean, said, "Well, I happen to have Susan Lanier from The Hills Have Eyes." Oh, great! And she also was at that time representing Gabrielle, and I have Gabrielle Stone, and so they worked the scene into it. So I don't know that it was originally planned. That was, I think that she kind of was excited about that idea and made that happen. She put that together. I think she did some of the casting on the film, and she's got a lot of insight herself. She's amazing.
Wow, that's very cool. What's it like working with Wes?
Well,
What?
it was his second film,
Yeah.
uh, and so he had at that time not grandiose success. The Hills Have Eyes was a very low budget movie, as was Last House on the Left, and so he was really, really sweet. He's always been very, very sweet, very um, compassionate. And so I like that. I haven't worked with Wes since The Hills Have Eyes, which kind of saddens me. I'd love to do another film with him, but so I can't say what he's like now, except that I ran into him a couple of times and he was gracious, nice. Um, but at the time he was really young, like we were all very young and very enthusiastic. We had a lot of fun. The desert was, not conducive to comfort. We were all crammed into this little trailer, and I really at the time had the most credits, so I'd been a bit pampered, doing a lot of television with my own trailer and makeup people. And when I agreed to do The Hills Have Eyes, it was quite primitive, and it was fine with me. I really loved doing that movie, and so we were crammed in a trailer, and it was hot in the daytime and freezing at night, and we were all working very long hours, and lots of night shoots for the dog scenes and stuff. And I was a solid bruise when I came back to LA from the set from the location.
Yeah, well, I mean, Michael Berryman has no sweat glands,
Right.
so I mean that environment could have killed him.
It really could have. Of course, back then too, he was much younger. I mean, it was been 40 years, so I think, or 30, I don't know.
It's
19,
almost 40.
yeah, 19,
1977.
yeah, 1977. So, we were all really young then. And so we had a lot of stamina, and the elements didn't bother us quite as bad as they do now. I wouldn't be able to run through the desert in those high platform shoes either now. But, well, I don't think I could. But I mean, yeah, I'm fairly athletic, but that would be challenging. I certainly couldn't fit into the jeans that I wore in that movie.
Oh, I bet you could.
Well, if I starved myself, maybe. But no, I mean, that we were all babies when we did that movie.
And then you transitioned from acting into music.
Yes, well, in 1977, I I after The Hills Have Eyes was released, I went to the Troubadour with my girlfriend Lindy, whose husband was playing with the rock musician Delaney Bramlett. And so she wanted me to go hear him sing, and I had a shoot that next day, and I said, I don't know if I want to go. And she said, oh, come on, let's go. And so we went to the Troubadour on Sunset, and he had seen me in The Hills Have Eyes at a drive-in the night before, and he came off the stage and asked me for my phone number, and I said I had a boyfriend, and he said he didn't care if I had a boyfriend, and we I gave him my number, and he actually said that night, "I'm going to marry you," and I said, well, "You're crazy," and we got married. So um, he was the music scene that he introduced me to was so much more exciting than other things I had done. I'd always loved music, and he was a fine musician. He produced Eric Clapton's first album. He wrote many songs, so we started writing songs together, and I started doing some backup singing with him, and I just fell in love with the music business. And so between act, I didn't stop acting totally, but I certainly didn't try to get acting jobs like I was, because I put a band together in the '80s, and I was playing at the Palomino and all over. It was very exciting. I love the music business. I
Uh,
love making music. I love to be in the recording studio. It's very, very rewarding, soulfully.
and you got a new video out right now.
Semi new. I'm getting ready to do a whole bunch of new ones, but I do have one out.
You want
It's
to
called,
introduce it?
yeah, it's called Watch What You Ask For. You just might get it. And it's about the perils of internet dating. So Michael Behrman helped me out on that. He's the co-star with me in it. And I wrote it and directed it with a guy named Christian McWhorter. And Brooke Lewis is in it. She's Miss Vampy. Some of your horror fans may be familiar with Miss Vampy, and it's just fun. It's supposed to be a comedy. Some people think it's kind of gross because it's horror, but it's really just a lot of fun.
Well, let's check it out.
Cool.
Looked into your eyes, thought I read the meaning. I gave you my all, right from the beginning. I never would have thought you'd be so deceiving.
And we're back. And that's I love the fact that some horror actresses and actors get into music. You, Tuesday Night, Linnea Quigley was in a band before she was in the movies, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see the other side of the creative person.
Well, the creative process is kind of there. You know what I love about music is that I don't have to wait for a casting director to say, "You've got the job." I can go in to, I'm in my music studio now. I can go in, sit down at the piano, write a song, call my producer MJ Denton, say, "I'm coming over. Let's put some music down," and we've got a final product. Rather than for movies, you have to wait for the right part. And as a more mature actress now, the roles are fewer and further between. I have 4 horror movies out right now. And that's plenty. I'd like to get back into some comedy because I started off in comedy. But I love the music because I don't have to wait for somebody to give me a job. That's the great part about music.
And that's the great part about music nowadays. I mean, it's all, if you want to, you could just sit home and create it on your computer,
That's right.
you know.
That's right. I have a great band. I use a lot of Delaney's players from his band. So I've a great blues rock band, the
Cool.
best actually. But and we have a lot of fun. I have it on hold right now because I'm writing a script. But once that's finished, hopefully by August 31st, I've given myself to August 31st to finish writing this project. And after that, I'll put the band back together and start performing in Los Angeles again. But I did BB King's in Orlando, Florida with the Ladies of the Blues. And it's just, acting is not as much fun as music, to tell you the, not for me, you know.
Well, I'll watch anything you ever make. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's just music, the music business. I mean, playing with your band in a club, and there's just nothing more fun than that, I don't think. So,
now you say you got four horror films coming out. One of them being Cut.
right. Cut is it really is my favorite. Well, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, Cut's, I really am proud of Cut. Um, my first film I did after my husband passed away in 2008 was Area 51 with Oren Peli.
Yep.
And it has unfortunately not gotten great reviews. My part was kind of eased out of it there. Oren is a wonderful director and really fun to work with. So I think that I was looking forward to that movie opening, and it's kind of fizzled. So it's okay. And then I did No Solicitors with Eric Roberts, and I have one that I'm really anxious to come out called Betrothed, and I play Bill Oberst Jr.'s wife. And I don't know if you're familiar with his work.
I know who Bill Oberst Jr. is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're really good friends. And so it was such a hoot to be cast as his wife. And it's just the goriest. Yeah, I just play the most evil shop owner. And he's like in his overalls, and I'm in a checkered shirt, and we're just hicks from, the South. And because we're both Southern. And then, I just love, playing that evil, and we just, between takes, Bill and I just laugh. It's hysterical. But I love working with Bill, and he's actually involved in this new movie I'm trying to get launched.
Yeah,
So
he's in Circus of the Dead. We had Billy Pond on a while back.
yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
actor. He's such a serious actor. He's really,
Yeah.
really, he takes his craft very seriously. I think he and David Roundtree are supposed to do some project together too, but I introduced them. So, and then, and that one's called Betrothed. So Bill and I are both kind of waiting for that to come out. I can't wait to get that scene, see that scene.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any dailies or anything.
So let's introduce the trailer for Cut.
Okay.
So here it is, David Roundtree. David Roundtree production with Suze Lanier, Gabrielle Stone, David Roundtree, and David Banks.
Yeah, David Banks, cool guy.
The movie is Cut.
disturbing news in North Hollywood. 2 headless female bodies were found early this morning, and police are now saying this could be the work of a possible serial killer.
I got an idea how to make some easy money. We can make a movie by getting real people and just scaring them. Let's do it. Every big horror movie's got like a larger-than-life bad guy. I think we gotta find somebody like that.
Wait a second, that's that homeless guy from out back.
She's perfect.
Now we found her.
Take this. Just scare her.
The guy came in there with a knife and he slit her throat. We're accomplices to murder.
I just don't know why I have to be the one to do this.
I guess the director can do whatever he wants, right?
We're making a movie. Polina!
So where do we go from here?
And we're back again. And Suze, I want to thank you for coming out and coming to sit down and talking with me. I love this. I'm so in love with this. This is one of the greatest things.
Well, I'm having fun. I mean, I'm a little awkward with Skype, kind of, but I'm getting it. I'm glad we're doing this. I need this experience, and I've had a great time hanging with you.
Skype takes a little bit of getting used to. Once you do it, I mean, you should have Michael, get Skype, and then you guys can Skype and learn from one another all the time. And once you get the hang of it, you'll never want to stop.
Yeah, I'm already addicted after today. I've done it before, but it's been a while since I did a Skype interview. So I did an audition on Skype once. It was kind of weird, but because I didn't know where to look. I was looking down at the at the keyboard. But I'm getting a hang of it.
Well, again, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you?
Well, on my IMDb is Suze, Suze Lanier, Lanier, Bramlett, Bramlett. And I'm on Twitter with the same name, Instagram, and Facebook, of course. And I have a fan page. I need more fans on my fan page. Everybody goes to my personal page, but I do them all.
Well, there you go.
Hit me up. I'll be your friend. I'll friend you back.
I follow you on Twitter.
Oh, good.
So
I'm following you too, right?
Yeah, the 13th Wolfman.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So for myself and for Suze, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and I'm on the prowl.
Yeah.